hashtag Wits protest and fees must fall have been dominating our timelines the whole day today. This comes after the ongoing student protest at the Wits Braam campus turned deadly this morning. We woke up to reports that a civilian was shot with a rubber bullet and died on the scene. The news of his passing started making rounds on social media.
Shortly after that, angry and shocked tweets were quick with their fiery comments, and this is what they had to say. NetNet said violence is never a solution for any matter. There will always be casualties, and in most cases, innocent ones. Dialogue is the best way to go. Issues must be addressed in an amicable manner. So sad in this era, we still kill each other. And then the Ukwesta had this to say, really, it's stand up and get murdered. That's it? Now they'll get a minister to say some poop to distract us from the fact that they're out to silence us forever. And the police are happy to oblige because what's an oath to the people when I have a gun? Siyaqedwa. And then this is what Uthuli Madonsela had to say. At SA Police Service, Minister Begicele and presidency, this is wrong. Just the use of rubber bullets was wrong. Now this, and it's Human Rights Month. Please have an urgent intervention at the highest level to ensure rogue behavior does not discredit the state as a whole.
You know, there's so much to be said about this, and I'm just thinking, with everything that's going to be said on this table, how do we find ourselves back here? Where we are dealing with the same issues that we've been dealing with all these years. When you look at the issues of fees, when you look at the issue of students and the miss and middle who can't afford to go back and register again for school because there is debt and all these other issues. And we turn to the government and business and everyone else to try and resolve these issues. And then you have the protests, which I'm all for. And you know what I've noticed the reporting when it comes to the protest? It's like, you know, protest disrupting Empire Road, protest disrupting traffic. I love that disruption because somebody needs to listen. And if this is not enough, then I don't know what needs to happen for somebody to listen. Whoever's in power, Minister of Higher Education, the tertiary institutions.
Yeah.
Definitely. I saw these two tweets which got me thinking on my point. I'd love to bring them up. So at NDL Ndumi said, as a student journalist covering the protest that took place at the intersection of Wits Art Museum, I was shot by police in the leg. Her next tweet says, the policeman did not care who I was, whether I was walking by, whether I was a student or a student journalist. I could have been his child and he still just will have shot me. So for me, I personally think that, you know, when it comes to these protests, we look at them black and white. They treat them very differently. The police are very specific on how they treat black bodies, how they disregard black bodies, the violence that's meted out to black students. I mean, these are kind of kids, you know what I mean? And you've had beach protests, we've had multiple protests with white people, even shouting at the police, even attacking the police. And all they get is a couple of selfies and a pat on the back and get their laptop back. But when it comes to black people, I'm still so shocked that black lives don't matter in a black country.
I agree with you, Lesego, and I had to experience it from both sides. I lived in the township, I've lived in the burbs, and I've seen how the police treat black bodies. It is shameful. It's almost as if Uguti, after apartheid, they hired all the police that were brutalizing black people, because that's exactly how our police behave. We see you at police stations, even if you want to go for an affidavit, we see these problems, how our police are treating us. But for it to sonke sabantu, treat us well. And we're not saying to go and brutalize white people the way that you're brutalizing black people. We're saying that we've seen that you can do your job properly. You can protect and serve. So please, guys, act right. Siyanicela.
Definitely. And on the topic of racism and classism, we are still reeling from the shocking, violent, brutal protests that are at Wits have claimed one life and left scores of students wounded. However, one of our ministers thought it was cute to tweet this. Beautiful skies in Johannesburg. What a beautiful country. Now, obviously, this led to many reactions on the timeline. Lee Mathis says, no, you did not. If you had any decency as a finance minister, you'd be dealing with financing. Hashtag fees must fall instead of sky gazing. And if you didn't know that your government killed someone today during a Wits student protest, then you deserve to be inside those pilchard cans. Kanya Worst weighed in with this. Students are being shot at and someone died at the hands of your government. And when you're here telling us about a beautiful country, I know for a fact that you're not tone deaf, but you just want attention to shift to you. Na umporile this your shem, Dito. And lastly, Sir Boring vented out with this. Why are you not in discussion with Blades about sorting out the funding crisis in the education system in our country? How can funding for teachers and nurses be cut? The ANC comrades live in another country while we suffer their incompetence. Ooh, fully agree.
It's so sad how we are seeing how our politicians, and I'm not singling out a single party here, I'm talking about politics as a whole. We can see how they actually don't care. They actually used to hide it back then, but now they know they've got us. They're going to be in parliament again. And that's why we see these kind of things that we are seeing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Minister Mboweni, where's the compassion? Someone died today. How can it be a beautiful day in Johannesburg? I mean, how about some words of compassion, showing that you care, a bit of empathy for the students who are protesting today, with good reason, and for the loss of life? Is that too hard?
And I also want to know, with the politicians, why is it that they have a short-term memory? I mean, not so long ago, they were the students who were marching. They were the students who were being brutalized by the police. And now they're complicit in allowing this to happen in 2021. Anyway,
Animal
guys,
farm.
Yeah,
It's animal
it
farm
really
all
is
over
every
again.
man for himself. And I can't believe that's from our leaders.